Well, welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, Kevin. Kevin, you got something wrong with your eyes. They just look off.
I need vengeance.
Okay? Oh, man. They've wronged you.
They sure have. Yes, they sure have.
Kevin, tell us about it.
I don't know
what's wrong.
I don't really know who to blame at this point. So typically when we do Trailer Hitch, we'll say you can listen to us on iTunes. Many of you have probably deduced it's really hard to listen to us on iTunes right now because our episodes haven't been updating. I know we've mentioned this on the show a few times at this point, but we are switching our podcast host. And
you've heard it before and you'll hear it again. It's been hell.
It's been
frustrating.
It's like I'm living in Mandy every single time I log on to Libsyn to be like, what new update do I have? Oh, there's another non-answer. Yeah, it's really interesting because everything that you and I have researched and found about this is the process is super easy.
Yeah.
Even an idiot can do it. And that only adds to my range because I don't think I'm an idiot.
Yeah, we must be some other kind of idiot. Some other type, some other species of idiot.
Yes. So yeah, we're kind of locked in this weird custody battle between WordPress and Libsyn, where one side is pointing fingers to the other as to why things are going wrong. And at this point, I don't fucking care. I just want to be able to post the podcast regularly.
We just want to provide for you guys, the viewers. And we'll get there. For God as my witness, we'll get there eventually.
I mean, just eventually it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who's... Well, I was about to spoil Mandy, and I shouldn't do that. I should wait until we get to the spoiler
We can spoil it at the end of the episode.
Where we talk about Mandy.
That's right.
Before we do that, we have plenty of other trailers to talk about. But before we do that, you gotta listen to this theme song.
Let's get happy, guys.
You can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Grab a seat, pour yourselves some whiskey neat. It's time to judge the shit out of these future releases by the movie trailers. We're trailer hits. This movie might totally suck, but the whiskey sure is going down fine. Yeah, we're trailer hits.
Happy? What is that? I haven't felt that in so long.
Let's get... engaged in
Less
conversation
angry?
About not angry things.
Okay, yeah, I think I can vibe with that.
So to start off, welcome everyone. Welcome to Trailer Hitch. I'm James.
I'm Kevin.
Yeah, and this is a movie trailer podcast where we talk and rate movie reviews. How am I doing, Kevin?
I mean,
because you usually handle this little spiel.
We switched off for this, and I went, we'll see. Like, I'll let James
give
take
me another crack at it.
Okay.
Welcome to Trailer Hitch, where we rate and reviews movie trailers on a basis of need to see, need to see more, and never need to see.
Those are our three.
That one being the worst one, obviously. And that's what we talk about. We make fun of them if there's merit to make fun of it.
If there's merit, yeah. We try to be judicious. We try to give you our honest opinion, try and approach trailers as their own art form.
That's fair.
But that doesn't mean there's no yucks.
And sometimes there isn't any humor in a trailer, and we will do our best to attempt to provide it for the trailer.
Yeah, try and eke it out.
Yeah,
sometimes it's like getting blood out of a stone, or sometimes it's like trying to switch your podcasting host.
Oh my God.
Sometimes it's really hard.
I know which one's more difficult.
Tonight we have tune-ups. We're going to be talking about the Grinch because there's, I think at this point, they're on their 8th trailer.
This is the 3rd trailer, but I think we've only talked about it once, I think.
Yeah. I think we talked about it twice.
Well, regardless, we're going to do a little bit of an update for you guys. A little bit of a trailer tune-up with that one.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to be tuning up Mary Poppins as well.
Definitely, we've only talked about once.
Correct, yes.
That was in the teaser trailer showroom, so it was a real brief teaser. Her landing from her kite.
Yeah.
Kite flying.
I quipped that if you put a sinister soundtrack underneath it, it could very well function as a horror trailer.
Exactly, and I quipped that her reflection self was checking out the rear end of her real life self.
That's not what I was expecting out of Mary Poppins.
But that was my quip.
We will, yes. And I was just agreeing that everything about it just sort of seemed off. So we're going to check in again, see if
we got a full trailer this time, guys. So we'll be tuning it up.
Speaking of full trailers, we are indeed going to be talking about Captain Marvel tonight. That came as a listener request. We are going to be talking about Prospect.
A second listener request,
That was a second listener request from JP.
Thank you, JP, friend of the show.
And just because we wanted to talk about it, because we love the raid, we wanted to talk about Apostle. And just because we're pretty big Coen Brothers fans, we also wanted to touch on the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
And by big Coen Brothers fans, we mean one of us is a big Coen Brothers fan, and one of us have seen a few Coen Brothers movies and have liked most of them.
Which ones haven't you liked? We'll get into
it. Trust me.
So, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to get into our tune-up section. First,
let's do it.
We need to talk about the Grinch.
You're a mean one, mister.
Now, we have given the Grinch at least 2 times to impress us. And now we have another...
Third time's the charm. How about that?
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
You would think. So we go into this trailer. Not really a whole lot is different. We've more so with this one focused primarily on what the plot is going to be. We have less of the Grinch dicking around in a grocery store. And we have more of his desire to say, fuck Christmas, and to take that away from everybody.
Absolutely.
What do you think about this? I feel like I've already let slip my thoughts.
You sure did let slip your thoughts. I'll open us up then. We're gonna try and pepper in a little compliments here, okay? So for the most part, it's difficult to make a feature-length film out of The Grinch. It comes from a children's story that's probably, only 20 to 30 pages long. Mm-hmm. Not very long. Yeah. They made the animated film with Boris Karloff and Chuck Jones directing, Looney Tunes style animated film, a masterpiece. Yes. But again, that's not a feature-length film. That is essentially just the storybook. So when you make The Grinch a feature-length film, you gotta add stuff. Mm-hmm. Ron Howard with the live-action version
made a dutiful attempt.
They very well put. Yes, it was dutiful.
We're very tactful here.
Yeah, and so he decided to focus more on the why the Grinch is so horrible, and
gave us a Grinch backstory,
the lead up, the origin story of the Grinch leading up to Christmas.
Did we need it?
Probably not.
Most people thought no.
Who's to say? Anyway, this feature-length film, animated, is choosing to focus more on, which this is the compliment. It took me a while to lead up to the compliment for this trailer. This is the compliment. It's focusing more on that Christmas day.
And I think in retrospect, that's sort of what chafed me a bit about the grocery store stuff from those initial trailers is... What does this have to necessarily do with Christmas?
You're just fucking up people's chores.
Yeah, exactly.
Their daily errands. What are you doing?
And if they were all buying like Christmas-related cookies or things pertaining to a Christmas dinner, okay,
makes
thematically apt.
Yeah.
But again, he pukes up pickles in a jar and puts them in some lady's cart, and it's like, what is this? What are
this
we
is
doing
not
here?
what people are here for. People are here for this green monster stealing Christmas from people.
So at the very least, we have him fucking with a kid's snowman, which, like, initially
right
was
away. That was early on, right?
Pretty early on, yeah. We see this happen. The kid goes, "Boy, you're a mean one, mister," and then he gets pelted with a snowball.
Mister was the end of that kid's sentence.
Yeah.
When it's like you want to imply that he was going to finish the line from the song, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's the joke. That's what should be the joke.
That's the joke.
But it's not in this case.
But the timing, again, is just, like, sort of off.
That's fair. For the most part, though, this is still lacking for me. I still think the Grinch is too cute. He's too plush. He's too stuffed animal-like.
And especially at the end of the trailer, giving him that bit with Max and the moose, where he acquiesces and lets them come up onto the bed.
He's literally cuddling with 2 cute animals in bed.
Yeah, and even though he might seem a bit cross about it, it's by his choice. I kind of feel like I'm seeing the end of his arc in that bit, which is inherently something I don't want in a trailer.
Yeah.
I want, like, the preamble, give me the setup, and sure, I understand. the Grinch animated film from the people that did Despicable Me is probably not going to left turn and have him turn into Mandy at the end, or have this turn into some Mandy thing where he like chainsaw fights Max at the end of it. It's not going to happen.
I would see that movie though.
I would totally fucking go and see that movie, just like I saw Mandy. But at the same time, I don't necessarily want that in a trailer. I feel like that's kind of tipping your hand a bit too much.
I'd agree with you. This is not great. I'm still very hesitant about this, but more Christmas stuff is a plus.
It's going in the right direction. Maybe by trailer 7, we will get to a point where we're like, all right, it's a need to see more.
And more Max is a plus as well, because I mean, he's adorable. And he can be adorable because he's a fucking puppy and he's adorable.
Sure.
The Grinch shouldn't be adorable. He should be ugly as the song describes him. Mm-hmm. But he's not in this movie. It's ridiculous. He's too cute. Anyway, need to see more.
I think I was at a Never before. And I think I'm going to stick with Never.
Okay, well, if I was at anything other than a need to see more before, I have changed it either upward or downward to need to see more now.
Okay, cool.
Mostly because they hit the right notes of what I think the movie should be, but it's more along the lines of some of the humor didn't land, and also the Grinch is too cute, and I don't like that.
Fair. Speaking of adorable, things that may perceive to be too cute, we have Mary Poppins Returns.
Watch your tongue with too cute, sir.
Nothing's gone forever, only out of place.
Well, we're going to get into it right now.
Yeah.
So, again, we had quipped that the first trailer, was just like, from a tonal perspective.
It was weird.
You switch the score, and that's a fucking horror movie.
And I remember telling you when you brought that up, and you're not wrong, but like you could definitely throw horror music under there, and it fits.
Yeah.
But in the original Mary Poppins movie, like when she does roll into town, it's with like storm clouds.
Yeah.
Which I think is so weird. I don't understand why that's the thing.
I mean, yeah, like the electricity in the air, there's probably some sort of science. If you know the science behind this, feel free to write in at trailerhitchmailbox@gmail.com, even if it's just to say, this is impossible, we shouldn't take this much time
Exactly.
on it. But this trailer, I would say, completely nails the tone. I think that this is far more whimsical. I feel like this definitely speaks to, and I admitted this in the last episode, I've not actually seen the original Mary Poppins, but know about her through pop culture. There was a Simpsons episode
I do remember you saying that now.
Yes.
That's right. Having not seen the first one, what do you think your chances of seeing this one?
The odds that I will see this have greatly improved off of this. We talked last week about Anna and the Apocalypse, and we were kind of noticing that musicals don't really show their characters singing.
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Emily Blunt came and just punched us in the face and was like, here's at least a couple of bars. Now, granted, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
We get way more dance choreography out of this than we do legit seeing a song being performed. But we finally have a musical trailer where you see a character singing live on camera.
And the song is sung with their lips, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Like, this finally is breaking the doors down and saying, guess what? We can market a movie as a musical.
Yes.
Half.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It was for like 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. But it was a close-up on her. Yeah. And she was very intently singing, and it was whimsical and lovely. And I was very excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you brought that up. That was the main thing I wanted to bring up as well, is how excited that they promoted and sold actual singing for, believe it or not, a musical movie in a trailer.
Who would have thought that would be a good idea?
Yeah. What do you think of the stuff other than that?
The stuff other than that, this really does feel like Christopher Robin. Like, now that I know the premise of Mary Poppins Returns, this... I'm sure whoever wrote Mary Poppins Returns probably saw the ad or the film Christopher Robin and just went, shit, this is gonna steal our thunder.
Well, those two teasers came out at relatively the same time, remember? Because we did our podcast.
Yes, you're right.
So they probably both... They're both Disney, though.
Yeah.
So they probably knew.
They had to have known.
Like, Christopher Robin, like, character arc that he's going through of being an adult and away from childish nonsense. It looks to be exactly what this Mary Poppins movie is about. Mm-hmm. And Mary Poppins coming back into Banks' children's life to show them that you shouldn't just be an adult with a stick up your ass all the time.
Be a kid, goddammit.
Be a kid every once in a while.
Yeah, and dive into a bathtub.
You're right. That was exactly the story of Christopher Robin. Mm-hmm. And both of them had kids of their own that like needed to learn lessons of their own.
To be fair, I still have yet to see Christopher Robin.
Oh, you have? See, I've seen it.
That said, at least as far as the trailer is concerned, they shoo his fucking family right out the door. Christopher Robin's, like right near the beginning.
They're a bigger part of the film than the trailers imply.
Okay.
The family is. Sure. And I really liked Christopher Robin.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely kind of carries along that same track. And I don't necessarily want to say that makes this derivative, because I mean, they kind of were coming out at the exact same fucking time. It's a deep impact Armageddon, but with wholesomeness. Now, with Mary Poppins proper, like, her character is totally killing it for me. I think Emily Blunt is doing a great job. She has the austerity of a British maid, while at the same time... Nanny, thank you. While at the same time also exhibiting warmth to, like, these kids.
Yeah.
And though she's letting Ben Winshaw know hey, dick, stop being a dick and just have fun, there is a warmth to that. There is a warmth even to her scolding, which I think Emily Blunt does pretty well.
She crushes it. The part where she spins the bowl and the flowers on the bowl danced around in animation, 2D animation, I was just like, thank you. Thank you for going back to this wonderful 2D animation look and world. And that was some of the most wonderful stuff of the first one. Is that they're escaping this bleak, dreary London town. Maybe, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe that's just London in general. Maybe it's not Mary Poppins coming in.
To what I understand, there's a lot of rain.
It needs to be storm clouds. Maybe that's just how London looks all the fucking time. Who the fuck knows? You need to escape to cartoon land to get some fucking enjoyment
Sunshine,
out of your life.
Just some color.
Yeah. Sorry, England. I can't actually attest to that, but what else you giving me? Nothing. So, but once you hit that cartoon stuff, I was smiles for the rest of the trailer.
Oh yeah, like
not that I wasn't enjoying it before.
The dance numbers seem intensely elaborate. Lin-Manuel Miranda, again, it gives me the same impression I got from that first trailer, where he just looks so happy to be in this, and like it's just perfect casting to have that dude in there.
It's so great. I'm really excited. I'm super excited that Dick Van Dyke is in it, like doing his heel clicks at whatever age he's at. Jesus, I'm ready for it, man. So it's a neat. I don't remember. It was a teaser before, so we didn't rate it. This is a need to see it for me.
This is a need to see for me as well.
Fucking A.
Absolutely.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Bow, bow, bow. This is what it's all about, guys.
Yeah, man.
Just agreeing. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's start talking about our prospects. Specifically, let's talk about Prospect.
That was very good, Kevin.
The Queen's lair. Where is it? Drop it! Now, this is something I have never seen. In all my time in the Green. A little girl. We're in the same trough, you and I.
You don't have a ship?
No, I don't. But you will find a way to get home. If you find that buried treasure.
Why should I trust you? You're a killer.
I am indeed. But are you?
Space. By the look of it, it appears to be the final frontier for these people.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
This is Prospect. It is written and directed by Christopher Caldwell and Zeke Earle. This is starring Sophie Thatcher, Pedro Pascal, Jay Duplass, Andre Royo, Holla. He's from The Wire. I'm a fan.
Okay, gotcha. Haven't seen it.
I'm going to give a random shout out, because we here at Trailer Hitch, we like to give shout outs to lesser known cast members, because the top billed people, they tend to hog all the credit. So Ben Little plays the prisoner, and we would just like to say, hey, Ben, good job, bud. You're in a movie.
Very big of you, Ben Little. Aww, right?
I'm sure jokes like that are what made him want to be an actor, to prove people like us wrong.
That's right.
All right, so this is Prospect. It is a sci-fi film. Looks to be more centered around like the action thriller sort of camp. The interesting thing about this is the primary threat doesn't appear to be an alien, which oddly enough in of itself is sort of strange for sci-fi, and like especially like this sort of premise, which
it's a little off-brand.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what piqued our interest and what made us want to talk about it. It's ultimately the cheaper route. I would have to assume this was not a multi-million-dollar budget film.
Sure. Yeah.
But instead, like this seems to be a bit more focused on kind of like looking at how humanity adapts with space. And it appears as if not great. I want to kind of throw to you to see what you liked about this, what you were feeling about this.
Sure.
I'm kind of like just giving more general schematics over synopses, because I'm assuming there's a good chance that you've probably seen this trailer. If not, it's on YouTube. Go for it.
Basically, everyone go watch this trailer.
Yeah.
Prospect. Okay. I'm just going to be upfront right away because I don't think it'll be difficult for me to hide my feelings about it until the very end with what I have to say about it. I fucking love this trailer.
Okay.
It is so unique to me to see a live action sci-fi film that actually feels like a swashbuckling adventure, but also mixed with like suspense and tension.
Swashbuckling is an interesting choice.
There was a term in the trailer that caught my ear, and then I could not think of it that way. And Pascal?
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, literally
Oberyn from Game of Thrones.
Oberyn from Game of Thrones.
You might not recognize him here because his eyes are in his head.
The fucking Viper. He literally says to her, something buried treasure.
Yeah.
And usually it's like that, it's a sort of throwaway line that I might be able to just like let go.
They're heading to the Queen's lair, which like in theory is a bad idea because it's like, oh, let's just go to a lair.
Right.
That's never going to be an easy task.
Exactly. But I was not able to let go of that term, buried treasure. It just fit so well with everything else in this trailer. And these people they're talking about ships. There's a lot of scenes that are in like the cabin of ships and talking about going to a destination to acquire a treasure and coming across. And she's clearly dealing with not a good guy, but also like maybe he's not super evil. Like maybe he does have a moral code, but he definitely seems like a pirate-esque. And then these other people that have the things that they want also seem kind of like a tribe of people that might be on a deserted island in a pirate thing. It just felt so swashbuckling and adventurous to me. And the guns they had even they weren't automatic weapons. They clearly were just like one shot and like, oh shit, they didn't need to like pack down the gunpowder and stuff like old timey stuff. Something about the suits just felt,
it's not quite like a retro sci-fi 60s, but at the same time it definitely bears influence from that.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. And again, really like the big pull for me was as soon as they said, oh, look at this, basically looks like the mosquito and Amber from
Jurassic Park. Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, we're going to go to the Queen's Lair and get more. And
they're trying to score dino DNA.
And I'm like, all right, let's see what sort of monstrosity they run into. And bear in mind, for all we know, that there is some monstrosity that is coming.
Sure.
And like they might run into something at the end of the film. But at least as far as the trailer is concerned, they don't give a shit about what sort of monster could be lurking in this foreign planet. Sophie Thatcher and Jay Duplass land, and then they run into Oberyn, who more or less, at least the implication I get from the trailer, ices Jay
He probably
Duplass.
kills him. Either he kills him or he incapacitates him.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because it's clear the story is about the girl and
Pedro Pascal.
That's what the movie's about. So I didn't feel like that was like a spoilery thing. It's clearly the driving force of the movie, is these two opposing forces needing to team up to accomplish a goal together.
Definitely, yeah. And right now, if there's anything I feel like I'm kind of lacking, it is characterization for Sophie Thatcher's character. She's very reactionary throughout all of this.
She's got the stern look down.
Yes. Like, they definitely have nailed her being trepidatious. Like, she's trepidatious as shit throughout this trailer. But that in of itself isn't necessarily a character. I feel like I have a really good read on Pedro Pascal's character.
Yeah, he's the one you're going to the movie for, I think.
Yeah.
From this trailer, anyway.
Yeah. I was about to say a less morally repugnant Jack Sparrow, but maybe a more morally repugnant Jack Sparrow, now that I'm thinking about it.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, when they find this tribe of people on this planet, and they offer, here is all of the mosquitoes in amber, but we want the girl for this. Pedro Pascal's response is, that's an interesting offer.
Yeah.
And it's not a no. And
it's not a no. It's verbally, he's thinking about it. But on his face, you can tell he, A, wasn't expecting that, and B, isn't 100% comfortable with that either.
Yeah.
So...
her reaction is to bolt.
Her reaction is, well, I don't trust you hemming and hawing over there. Yeah. I'm going to take matters into my own hands.
Exactly, so it's like we have like a little bit of action there, and I think that's why that scene in particular stands out for me.
Yeah.
I would really like to see more out of what I presume is our main character, though.
Yeah. She does seem like she's the, what's it called when you need a character to like get you into the world or the
I mean, like, she's a blank space. She's a blank slate for you to sort of transpose yourself onto.
So in that respect, she's probably enough to just input yourself there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is nicer to have that character have a character a little bit more. So I would agree with you there, but dude.
The cinematography, though.
And the set design. Dude. And the costuming. It just works, man.
The fucking contrast in all of those daytime shots is great.
It's gorgeous. The setting planet over the horizon, and it's just like casts this orange glow over everything. Yeah. But it's beautiful. And how many times have we seen spacesuits? Hundreds of times, right?
I've tried to count.
There's so many spacesuits in different kinds of sci-fi movies. These are inspired clearly by things we've seen before, but for some reason I love them. Mm-hmm. I love their spacesuits. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe part of it is the fact that they clearly spend a good majority of the movie in them. They need to be, functioning and comfortable spacesuits. Like that, maybe that sells it to me. I don't know. It's the set design, it's the costuming, it's the cinematography, it's the swashbuckling nature. This trailer was one sword fight equivalent away from being like a space pirate movie.
Sure.
In my opinion. And that's what I'm looking forward to most, and that's why this is a need to see it for me.
It is a need to see for me as well.
Are you kidding?
Oh, really? Absolutely
fantastic.
It is.
Cheers, sir.
Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely have
I was worried for a second.
Like the main character, I also have that trepidation about the main character.
Yes.
That said, there's so much good going on here that I'm willing to see, okay, what does the film do with this? And, like, is there more of a character that we're just not focusing on yet?
Yes, yeah.
Or is it just they're going to make a broader point with having her be a blank slate? And, like, I don't have enough intel on that yet, but all of the stuff that's in here that I like is so strong. Yeah, absolutely, I would see this.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing Prospect will report back on a trailer in the Rearview segment, and that is our promise. That's our prayer, if you will. I know it's a stretch, but I had to lead into apostle somehow.
I appreciate the attempt.
He shall be cleansed according to the edict of this land.
The promise of the divine is but an illusion.
God is pain. God is suffering. Beware false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Let us begin.
We're living on a prayer here over at Trailer Hitch, which is good because we're talking about Apostle.
I feel like you made that joke already.
I feel like I have
You can do better.
Why don't you do stuff?
How about Apostle... Possible. It's
hard, isn't it?
This is a possible. Laugh, Kevin.
Anyway, it's written and directed by Gareth Evans, who is the writer and director of the Raid franchise.
Mm-hmm.
This is starring Kristen Froseth, Dan Stevens, Michael Sheen, Lucy Boynton. A random shout out is going
Get in there. Real random. Let's do it.
All right. God, there's so many dudes in this cast.
That one. Right there. Right there.
That one. This guy right there. Okay. I can't pronounce his name. Fuck that. I am going to shout out Reese Meredith, who plays Man. Hey, Reese.
Talk about random shout out.
Reese, you're our man.
You go to
Man.
Thank you. That's right. Anyway, Kevin, tell us the good word on Apostle.
Yeah, so just in brief, Apostle is about Dan Stevens. He goes, fucks off into the middle of nowhere to find his sister.
It's an island, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
His sister appears to be entrapped with... It's a fucking cult.
Yeah.
And Dan Stevens starts to recognize, hey, something seems really off. Hey, this preacher who is initially preaching about equality for all and all of that... Really good, tangible...
Michael Sheen, right?
Michael Sheen, yes. Right. Preaching these good things, but something seems off. He seems to go into this cave every once in a while and they hear howling.
Yeah. And he also seems to be a psycho.
Yeah,
Maybe that has something to do with it.
Because there is, in this pristine village where there is love for all, also corporal punishment, which involves people getting drills in their heads.
Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, this leads to conflict, and that's what we're doing here. We're talking about that conflict. We're talking about the trailer itself. Does it sell it well? Does it sell it effectively? Overall, I would say yeah.
Yeah, I would say yes as well. I think the first thing we hear when we're starting to watch this trailer is the exposition about Dan Stevens' sister and him going to this island.
It's a very Dracula opening.
Yeah, to recover her or something, that kind of backstory.
Yeah.
And then from there, none of that exposition really matters anymore. Like, I almost don't think it's necessary in this trailer. Does it ever really come up again why Dan Stevens is there? Or could he just be, in terms of selling the movie, could you have just started with this town? It's like, it's got this interesting, sect that seems normal on the surface, but then gets more and more, crazy and psychopathic.
That's an interesting point. I think for the purpose of this trailer, just because you need some sort of insight into what Dan Stevens is doing there. If I'm talking about this as like a broader thing for the movie, I think it would have been way more interesting if we just like saw this town operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
And if someone just like woke up one day and went, hey, drilling holes in people's heads, I'm not okay with that. I have to figure out a way to get the fuck off this island.
Right.
I think that, and if Kristen Froseth, who I presume is the sister who Dan Stevens is trying to rescue, if she is the protagonist, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I may argue better, but I haven't seen the movie yet.
Sure.
But we'll come back to this.
I haven't either.
We'll come back to this.
Which is why we're talking about the trailer on this trailer podcast, guys. So I other than that though, I was very engaged. Very much so.
Yeah.
This is a period piece, so it takes place, I can't even...
In a period!
I can't even place it. It felt Western to me, but at the same time, not so.
Dan Stevens has a pocket watch, and he doesn't appear to be a hipster, so I have to assume it was in the time when pocket watches were the actual mode of time.
Yeah, and the chapel looked very much like it was in a Western or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe mid-1800s. So that you already have that aspect. Yeah. Then, it's definitely horror, right?
Yeah. There's very much a horror vibe.
It hides it at the beginning. You're just like, oh, what am I don't know what I'm watching. Probably a suspense film.
Yeah.
No, it's a horror film. There is gore. There is torture. There are people in masks that are just gyrating in a corner around a campfire or something. It was
Cash.
psycho. like cult horror shit, right? Then on top of it, who's directing this movie, Kevin?
Gareth Evans, the director of the Raid films.
And we are not without some hints, at least, of excellent fight choreography.
Yeah, I was wondering.
There was a split second of
it gave us the title card, Gareth Evans from the Raid, which... First of all, thank you, whoever was cutting this trailer, for specifying that, because even as an ardent fan of The Raid, I get him and Gareth Edwards mixed up all the
Impossible to
fucking
keep
time.
them straight. Impossible.
And so initially it was like Gareth Evans, and I was like, there's good at things about Godzilla.
And Rogue One.
Yeah, definitely. And then all of a sudden, Raid, and I went,
that one.
Shit. Okay, yep, sitting up. And yeah, I was kind of watching this trailer and going, I'm enjoying this. It's really interesting seeing him stretch his wings and not do something that was just like balls out action.
Yes.
And then we got Dan Stevens whacking people with sticks. And I'm like, there it is.
You know what? I want to see more amazing fight choreography in horror films.
And I will say it is kind of shoehorned into this trailer, but I don't care.
I'm okay with it, though.
I don't care.
Because I just want to see that director's talents exemplified even
would like
in
to
a
see him
different
whack more
genre.
people with sticks.
Yeah. And then it ends on a very horror-esque note with a guy being...
He's in
fed into a grinder, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the impression I got.
Old-timey wood chipper that moves very slowly, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think about all those things? That's a lot of things. That's a lot of things,
There's a
Kevin.
lot of things in this trailer, isn't there? I definitely could feel some of like those, and it's weird to say pace stuff in a trailer because they're 2.5 minutes. But I understand what you're talking about with having like this kind of like slow grind start at the beginning because the rest of the trailer just like takes that and fucking pitches it into the water immediately after.
The music lends itself well to a good build, though.
Yeah, and I do think that there is a build that happens through this trailer. I don't necessarily know if it's that effective. It feels like a very by the numbers way to do a slow build in a trailer. It's like, all right, we just got to get a fucking score in here. We're gonna like build it up. We're gonna like give you some hints that something's wrong, and then we're gonna show you some stuff.
So you're saying kind of paint by numbers a little bit?
Oh, like in terms of the construction of the trailer, yes.
Sure, and that's what we're talking about.
And that's what we're talking
about. The trailer,
about.
So.
And bear in mind, like the cream of the crop trailers that make us rethink how we approach viewing trailers are so few and far between that I'm not necessarily like flipping the bird at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to poo-poo them, they've given us some pretty great content, but at the same time, Netflix trailers I've noticed as a whole, a lot of them have the same feel and same construction to them.
Definitely if it's the same kind of genre.
Yes. I think it is totally genre dependent.
Yeah.
That's a hint for later, by the way.
It may come up again.
Other than that, no, I was really digging this trailer. You pointing out, like, hey, what if the movie was about the sister instead and just focused on her? That has kind of made me rethink things because it's like, it would be really cool to not only have that, because that does make for a tighter story, one. But two, it would be kind of awesome if you gave me a Raid movie with a female protagonist.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm not saying cut the brother.
No,
I'm
not
saying
necessarily.
I'm saying she's the main character.
Yeah,
and you start with her.
Maybe he gets iced at the 40-minute mark, and she's like, "All right, well, I better pick up these sticks and start whacking folks."
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you start the movie in this island and in this community that feels wholesome and true. And the viewer's first indication that something's off is this random brother coming from nowhere being like, bitch, you were kidnapped. Like, you need to come with me now. Like, this is bad. And us as the viewers are kind of like sort of in the cult with the main character, the woman.
Yeah, it's like we get the first like 10 or 15 minutes of the movie where everything is idyllic.
Yeah,
and 15 minutes might be a bit too long for idyllic. 5 to 10.
Sure.
And then you have the brother come in, and we're exactly in her shoe. I think we're writing a cult. We are. Like, you and I, okay. We should be talking about the actual trailer itself. I just wanted to say, though, that you did make an excellent point.
Thank you.
And that has made me rethink this a little bit. That said, the horror aspect of this, especially seeing this director who is just specifically action, now kind of branching out and kind of going into horror, I think there are some really interesting ideas here, and I think it is really fun to see him explore those. Mm-hmm. And sure, Dan Stevens whacking fuckers with sticks is cool, but that was ultimately not necessarily what I was looking for after a certain point. It was like, I was maybe like, oh, well, like, is there going to be action? But as the trailer was going on, I was thinking, no, I actually kind of like this. I kind of like him expanding his horizons a little bit as a director.
Sure, yeah.
That fucking Dutch tilt, and there's also a push-in with the camera for the first torture mechanism we see. Fucking lights out. I loved it. I think it's all pretty solid. But how about you? What do you think?
I really liked it. I thought the style was interesting. I like this filmmaker a lot because I like the first two Raid movies. Opposite end of you, I feel like I would like a little bit more out of the fight choreography stuff though. Like just getting a taste of it made me go, are you mixing awesome fight choreography in a horror film? Because I don't know if that's been done before to an amazing level.
That's fair.
And now that I have a little taste of it, I kind of have to have that.
And now that you say that, I kind of fucking want that.
Right?
You've been killing this review. Like, everything you're saying, I'm like, no, that makes me rethink this.
And look, it all stems from things I like in this trailer.
Yeah.
But they all lead to me kind of just daydreaming about, you know what would be better, though?
Yeah.
And that's why this is a need to see more for me, because I want to see a perfect marriage of his fight choreography direction with a horror movie. And this could be it. I don't know, though. There's a lot I don't know yet. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, God, you're so fucking close to getting me to change my mind. I'm going to stick with a need to see, but it's
Fair enough.
Now a tempered need to see.
You're very interested to see if it goes in the direction I want it to go in, aren't you?
I am. I so am. Everything you've said has been so right.
We'll see.
But at the same time, I do really like what I see on display here.
Yeah.
I am really vibing and gelling with the horror aspects. I think having Michael Sheen as your fucking horror villain is perfect.
He's an amazing character actor.
Yes.
So, and I know we normally... Look, Netflix does release more than one trailer. They do. But most of the time, I feel like we review a first trailer for a Netflix movie, and then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, the movie's on Netflix. Their turnaround is that quick, usually, that a lot of times we don't get to review a second trailer. I will definitely be looking out for another trailer of this movie, though, because I would be interested to talk about it on the podcast with you. So I hope they do release a second trailer, and I'm very interested about it. So yeah.
Very much so. All right. Cool deal. Well, let's listen to the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I'm Buster Scruggs.
You're shooting ironwork.
Appears to do, yes.
Do you have anything to say before sentence is carried out?
Sentence? What's my sentence?
Lead us in.
Transition into the Ballad of Buster
Scruggs.
No, what to
Written
say.
and directed by Ethan and Joel Cohen,
Thanks
the Cohen
for
brothers.
saving me,
This is starring Zoe Kazan, James Franco, Liam Neeson, Clancy Brown, Brandon Gleeson, Tim Blake Nelson finally got to the title character. Stephen Root, Tom Waits. Our random shout out is going to go to Grace LeSueur, who plays Pretty Girl at Gallows. Hey, Grace, good job, bud. You're in a fucking Coen Brothers movie. That's awesome.
Sorry you gotta just be at the gallows, though, and not in other parts of the movie that are more fun, probably. More happy. But, what are you gonna do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to talk about the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Let's talk about it, Kevin.
Go for it. Tell me about it.
So we open up. It's a Western.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
Pretty good thing to let you know.
Thanks. So we dive right into what the framing device of this movie will be, which is essentially a man in a carriage telling a story to a group of people that are interested in hearing a story. That's essentially the framing device for the whole trailer. Is he's pounding his stick, and he's like, I'm the distractor, I tell stories. And as he's pounding his stick, the sound effect of a stick being pounded becomes the footsteps of James Franco in the saloon or the bank or wherever he's in.
Yeah.
So we dive right into the framing device, and it's a little confusing because immediately you think James Franco might be the main character of this movie.
Might be the titular Buster Scruggs.
I mean, he has the movie star entrance,
Yep.
and there's like no one else in that building when he walks in. It is like all on him. And all of a sudden, then goofy ass, what's his
Tim Blake
face?
Nelson
Opens up the swivel doors and says, "Oh no, I'm Buster Scruggs."
Yep.
I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you definitely make more of an entrance, but for different reasons, Mr. Scruggs."
Yeah.
This guy is wearing the
all white.
whitest white hat you've ever seen, so that goes to show you he's probably the good guy. But he knows how to handle his iron, Kevin. He knows how to handle his 6-shooter.
Yes.
As he shows in when someone asks him.
Yeah.
So
doesn't break his goofy demeanor or smile as he is gunning down someone trying to take his life.
Yes.
Yep. That's
Exactly. So then we cut back to James Franco again in the noose for the first time with guys, hanging him from a tree and gonna
we're gonna carry out your sentence. Wait, what's my sentence?
What's my sentence? Right.
Yeah.
Clearly he gets, saved from that because we'll see him later.
Yep.
Also, again, in a noose, making a very great joke for the button of a trailer. We also get a little hint of someone putting on a stage performance of Ozymandias with, I think that was Liam Neeson, like wobbling the metal to create thunder or something. So if my description sounds a little disjointed, Kevin and viewers, that's because I feel like it is a disjointed trailer.
It is.
And it's hard to really focus on what is this movie about. The title says it's called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. We know who Buster Scruggs is in the trailer, but we don't really know what this movie's about.
The framing device at the very beginning where the guy says, we like to tell tales, we like to put ourselves in them, because we essentially get to live vicariously through these stories, gives me the impression that it is probably kind of more steeped in the Canterbury Tales route of just here are a series of different stories.
Okay, yeah, sure. And in which case that's fine. Like I said, the framing device helps it. It gives it a little bit of a pass.
Yeah.
That it's not a through story. But at the same time, I feel like the trailer is a little bit hard to follow in terms of...
Sure.
We're just kind of going all over the place here. What is this movie really about? Tom Waits is in it. He doesn't seem really connected to any of the other stuff that's happening, I don't feel.
Yeah.
I don't think... he didn't share the screen with any of the other people we mentioned today, right?
And the fact that he doesn't share the screen with James Franco or Tim Blake Nelson kind of lends to... And Tim Blake Nelson and James Franco don't share it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's no one does.
Yeah, it definitely gives the impression that these are separate stories.
Which is weird to call a movie after one person, though. Mm-hmm. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's call it the Ballad of the town that it's set in.
Yeah.
But to call it the Ballad of titular character implies that the whole movie is going to be about that character. At least that's how I look at it.
Sure, yeah, and I think I would need to see the movie in full, but I would agree that the trailer doesn't necessarily give you a full impression of what to expect structurally.
Sure.
I mean, I'm at least getting the impression that these are separate stories, and I can certainly agree that, having your title be indicative that this is all going to center on one fucking dude. Yeah, especially if it is anthology-esque.
That's strange. It's a strange decision.
It's a strange
is all
choice,
I'm saying. And you said, once you see the movie, maybe it'll make sense. But in terms of this trailer, it's a strange choice.
I think I was distracted by how much fun I was having. I was distracted by how awesome it was that Buster Scruggs whacked himself to get the dust off, and then as soon as he stepped away, there was a full dust outline of him just like hanging out.
I haven't seen a Looney Tunes-esque visual come across so perfectly in live action before that moment.
Yeah.
Like, you could just picture Yosemite Sam stepping into a saloon, dusting himself off and running away real quick, and the outline still be there.
Right.
Beautiful. You're right. I was having a ton of fun with the visuals and the dialogue itself, too. We said James Franco's line at the end. He's on the gallows with like 4 other people, and one man's crying to his left, and he just looks over and he says, "First time." Like hilarious.
Yeah.
It's really good. And it works best because we've already seen him in a noose earlier in the trailer. So I was having a ton of fun with this trailer. But at the same time, if it is an anthology film, the trailer doesn't do a good job at selling it. It just kind of feels like a question mark.
And I definitely agree that the trailer is all over the place. I am liking what I see out of the trailer. I am appreciating the humor of it. I definitely think that it is doing a good job carrying the Western aesthetic, and like it still has grit even though it's funny.
Truly.
And
True Grit, other Coen Brothers movie, just in case people didn't know. It was a Western.
You did good.
Look, they can do Westerns.
Yes.
Like, we know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. True Grit, which is a true Western, and then No Country for Old Men, which is a neo-modern Western.
Yeah.
They nail the aesthetic. So that is never up for a question.
I am a little bit more mixed on this one, just because even though I did like a lot of stuff on this, I can definitely agree that like structurally, again, like I was having fun, and like maybe I can trace like a thematic arc to how everything is going, but at the same time,
it's hard in 2 minutes though.
It's
to try and come up with it.
There's a lot crammed into here for 2 minutes. But what I will say, because we did mention this with Apostle, I mean, like this was like a different construction for a trailer than what we're used to for Netflix.
And I like things shaking. I like trailers trying to shake things up and not just be paint by numbers. So, yeah, brownie points for that for sure.
Is it entirely successful for me? Not necessarily, but I mean, good attempt.
It's definitely piqued my interest. Buster Scruggs just looks like a fucking cartoon character, man. He looks hilarious.
No, he is the selling point of this trailer for me.
Should we say it at the same time? I feel like we're kind of on the same boat here.
1, 2, 3.
Need to see more. Hey, we were on. I was nervous for a second. I was like, I'm pretty sure. Fantastic.
Good thing we did it.
Yeah.
All right. What a marvel that was. But let's get into the main feature tonight.
Yes, Captain.
I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
Oh, Captain, My Captain Marvel is co-written and directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. It is also co-written by no shit like 6 other people. So
that's pretty common with blockbusters, isn't it?
That's a lot.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm not going to list you all out. I hope the check from Marvel will suffice. This is starring Brie Larson, McKenna Grace, Lee Pace, Ben Mendelsohn, Samuel Jackson, Jude Law, Annette Bening. Our random shout out is going to go to Gil de Saint Gior, who plays the teenager. Hey, Gil, good job, bud. You're in a Marvel movie.
Good job, Gil. You're a hero to me.
This is Captain Marvel. What do we know about Captain Marvel? She is from space. She crash lands.
Or is she?
I mean, you would have to assume so. Either that or it was just a one hell of a tumble out of a plane. She crash lands into a Blockbuster Video. So we know immediately this is set at least, a couple decades ago, right?
And pre-Nick Fury having an eye patch, so...
Pre-Nick Fury having an eye patch, he has hair.
Yeah.
Unless we're in an alternate universe, and unless Nick Fury happened to put some Rogaine in and, put a glass eye in, we can accurately deduce this is in the past.
And look, Rogaine universe is not out of the question because Marvel delves in other universes.
It's true.
So the Rogaine universe.
Could be.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson's character is more or less dejected. He's like, I was going to give shit up, but then I saw you and was like, oh, well, wow, hope. Captain Marvel more or less is like, yo, I'm pretty sure I'm not an alien because I have these memories, but I don't know. Thus, conflict ensues. Like, we have some shots of a villain floating. It seems like a series of villains flying through space.
Like a species of villainous species, alien species. Yeah.
And that's more or less the gist with this.
Right.
And so, I'll start by saying that it's really cool to have a female superhero that in zero way, shape, or form feels sexualized at all or over-sexualized.
And I think
even like Black Widow is like skin tight as fuck.
Or even Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Which I fucking loved Wonder Woman, and it wasn't about that. But the costume.
She's in a miniskirt.
Yeah, the costume doesn't really lend itself to not. Me as a straight man, my eye goes.
I noticed.
Yeah, like it's hard not to focus on those things when the frame is focusing on that thing.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. This is a flight suit. Essentially, it's a flight suit.
Mm-hmm.
But it is spacey and it's alien-esque. Yeah. Like, it must be Alien, the flight suit that she's in. Mm. And it's got the fucking, badass logo on the chest, too. It's just, the star with the zigzags. The color scheme is really fucking awesome. And you're right. It's not about sexualizing the character.
Yeah.
Which I totally appreciate.
Now, I really like that, and my biggest note with the trailer is I really want more of Captain Marvel in her Captain Marvel trailer.
Yeah, she's got 3 lines in this, and one of them is just where am I? You don't know me.
Are you from space?
You don't know me.
It's complicated.
It's complicated. That's the one I was trying to think of, but I was failing miserably.
It's some variation.
Yeah,
of that,
but all the lines are small like that. I'm not who you think I am.
Yeah, they don't really reveal much personality.
No.
There is definitely this running theme of identity, and she doesn't really know who she is either. Bear in mind, I understand the impulse to focus on Nick Fury because Nick Fury is the bridge for Captain Marvel to the rest of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think to focus on him for the first half of this trailer felt a bit unnecessary for me because again, here's this new superhero. Hey, this is really cool that we're finally having a female superhero where I feel like if you took her costume and put it on a dude, it wouldn't immediately be awkward. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like we're finally getting a female superhero that treats her as a person.
Right.
That's super fucking cool. What am I getting out of her? I'm getting 3 lines of dialogue and a perceived backstory, but that's about it. I definitely want more of her personality. And it does lend me to question, okay, if you're not showing me it, is it because she's, kind of a flat character? And, if we're
I have a hard time believing that.
I have a hard time believing that. And even if the central film's question is, this big existential, who am I? At the same point, I really hope the answer isn't just a black hole in the center. Someone who has zero personality. That's
no charisma, right? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's we know Brie Larson is an amazing actress.
Yeah.
These are some other things that I know because I've been following this a little bit. We know Marvel makes relatively decent movies. Even the worst ones are entertaining.
I remember being semi-entertained by Iron Man 2.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even the worst ones are entertaining. And this is also what we know. Brie Larson had serious hesitation about signing on, but then did eventually sign on after like reading the script and talking with the director and all these kinds of things. So it's like she actively chose this role.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to believe there's more here for her than just walking looking badass.
Yeah.
/ looking confused about what is my past. You're right. The trailer doesn't imply that there is more to it than that.
Right.
Which is a little concerning. I have a little bit more faith, but faith does not a trailer need to make. Well, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, we can't just go off of faith of other knowledge.
Yeah.
We're trying to base this off of
just the trailer,
the merits of the trailer. And it looks like she's kind of a blank slate in this. And I think that is more of a detriment to, like you said, focusing mostly on Nick Fury for the trailer, which is weird.
I've been way too on record about my thing with Marvel villains and how, for the most part, I tend to find them pretty lacking. And
you do?
By
That's right.
Literally only giving me one shot of the perceived villain, it's like, we're making some really good strides. Yeah, I mean, like Spider-Man Homecoming, and I think Thanos is, in theory,
Thanos is good. Is very, very good, yeah.
With all of those, it's like, I felt like, okay, we're starting to get on the right track here, and now I'm like, maybe we were only getting on the right track with like their big ticket movies. And
I would say no, actually, because there's one that you were not interested in seeing so much called Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I was about to bring it up.
Yeah. The villain in that is actually kind of goes in line with the Vulture from Spider-Man and Thanos, wherein you understand what they are doing and why they're doing it 100%.
That's good.
Like, it goes out of its way to make you feel like they're not really a villain. They're just an opposition to the hero. And that I respect a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're continuing in that trend.
And I definitely hope that the flying orbs of light have some depth. But
they're like Green Goblin looking characters. And
kind of.
I know what they're called, but that's not in the trailer, so it really doesn't matter for people who are unfamiliar with this property. Sure. So, but you're right. We don't have any sense of a villain. We barely have a sense of the hero. Just the fact that she is a hero, because the title card tells us that, and she's dressed like a hero. I want to talk about what I liked about it real quick. It's the editing, and it's the way, the timeline in which this is spaced out, and it's, you know, her crash landing on Earth, clearly she's from space, but then she starts to remember stuff about a past life. Maybe she's got amnesia, I don't know. But it's done in a very interesting way. And I can't wait to see how the actual film handles the balance between all these different memories and scenes. Because it could come across as really tacky, but in the trailer, I think it flows like super well.
Agreed.
I know where I am at. I think I'm going to let you go first. I feel like I've said mine first every single one this time so far.
I'm at a need to see more.
Okay, great. So am I. Okay. Actually, yeah. There's a lot to be desired yet in this trailer. I want to see more from Brie Larson. Do you even know the character's name?
Captain Marvel?
I mean, that's sure. That is one entity, but no, her name is Carol Danvers, and it's like we don't know that about her. We don't know anything about.
Maybe
this.
If I like glanced at her like actual Air Force uniform, it might have said Danvers. Otherwise, I would have zero fucking clue.
There's so much we don't know about this character that this is your first female led superhero movie, man.
For the MCU.
For the MCU, obviously. You gotta show us show us her. She's not cast to the side in these trailers. She's definitely front and center. I was about to say put her front and center. She is front and center. We just don't get much from her, though.
Yeah.
Visually, she's there, but let's get a little bit more dialogue. Let's dive into her character a little bit different facial acting, because she kind of had the same like mean mug on the whole trailer,
and a lot of her line reads had like a very similar palette to them as well.
Yeah,
but I will agree that the craft in the trailer is very well.
I did really like the music in it too, and I I thought that was nice. It wasn't over the top of just like ominous tones. Like I feel like there was some piano in there or something, and it was nice.
Yes.
So there you go.
You want to talk about Mandy?
Let's talk about Mandy real quick, guys.
So what you gonna do with that thing?
I'm going hunting.
So what you hunting?
It's crazy evil.
First, we are going to get into the trailer proper, let you know if it sold the movie effectively. So I'll start by saying that the Mandy trailer is among my favorites of the year. Like, it is so fucking phenomenal to see not just this crazy batshit story unfold over the course of like 2 minutes, but at the same time, the way that it starts and stops like cold throughout the trailer. Like, you get Nick Cage with barbed wire in his mouth, screaming into camera, and then we cut to no sound at all. And then the next thing we see is, like, him fucking forging an axe. And it just completely, like, rides this really fun line of just, like, absurd, but there's so much craft, and the visuals are so engaging. I wanted to run to a movie theater and see the movie right away. Now, does this trailer sell it effectively?
I'm going to go out and say no.
So here's the deal, is if you look at the trailer, having seen the movie, I mean, yeah, like that, it is pretty much all there.
That trailer had all things that are in the movie.
What I will say is the Mandy trailer, I feel like plays as the highlight reel to Mandy versus as a taste of Mandy.
I am confident in saying, at least for me, this trailer that I loved.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this trailer. It is one of my favorites of the year as well, just because it came out of nowhere and it was bonkers. Just absolutely absurd. In the most fun, gory, weird, rock and roll way ever.
Yeah.
I don't think it sold the movie. The movie that we watched together felt like it was a different movie than what that trailer was selling.
And I do think the trailer kind of leads you to assume that the film is going to be a bit more propulsive than it is. I think the trailer definitely kind of leans a bit harder into the grindhouse aspects versus the experimental aspects. And bear in mind, it gives you a taste of the experimental aspects of the film. It's not going to completely pump fake you, but there is something else you should know about this going into the movie. But to really get into it, we're going to start to talk about the movie. And that does mean
spoilering.
We are going to be spoiling stuff, so if you'd like to dodge this, feel free to skip ahead a little while.
Yeah.
Because, we're going to get into Mandy. Now, walking out of it, I was disappointed. And
so was I.
The more time I've spent away from it, it's like I think I'm looking at it with red tinted glasses, where it's like, oh, fuck, but I really love these aspects about Mandy. But then I remember, oh, God, but there's so much dead air in this movie. And that's really the biggest issue I have with it, is it's a film where every shot feels like it's held for at least a couple of beats too long, and those beats add up. Man.
Which ends up meaning every scene goes on for probably 30 to 40 seconds too long.
Yeah.
Which also add up.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we'll get into it. The movie is definitely... It's basically a 2-act structure. Its first act is
easily, yeah.
Mandy and Nick Cage's character, Red, are in love, and, like, Nick Cage hates his job, but whatever.
It's also not important.
He also hates living in the woods, but Mandy likes it, so he's cool
so
with
also,
it.
That's not important either.
Yeah. And I don't think it's until, like, the 20 to 30 minute mark where the cult actually shows up. That's when we get, like, our first real hits of conflict. I thought that stuff was really good, and that's when I started to get interested in it again. And then Mandy dies. Effectively, this cult leader tries to get her to join the cult, and she laughs in his face. And so they put her in a bag, hang her, and light her on fire. Really making sure she's going down for the count. And then hour 2 is post Mandy's death. it's Nick Cage just losing his fucking mind. The losing his mind aspect comes in the form of taking hallucinogens. It comes in the form of freakouts in a bathroom. It comes in the form of not one, but 2 animated sequences.
Yep. And a random guy with a tiger.
Yeah.
Giving exposition of where he can find the bad guy
Yeah.
for reasons.
Well, the idea was it's like Red takes the acid or the hallucinogen.
When did he take that?
It's after the fight. So it's like he's tied up in the basement and then he breaks out and pushes the one Slipknot member through the hole.
Sure.
And then he goes upstairs, kills the other 2 Slipknot members, and then takes a hit of coke in the...
Yeah, he does cocaine.
Right. And then he walks up to the mason jar that you see, like, the Slipknot members drinking.
Oh, I thought he was just drinking, like sour milk or something.
No, he, like, takes a hit of that and puts it on his tongue, and there's, like, this huge freak-out acid sequence. And so, like, the implication is now that he's taken it, he has some sort of connection to the person who makes it. Because that's what that guy is doing. He is making the drugs.
That was so... I did not get that. I did not get that. Okay,
and it's not
great.
necessarily that it's hard to follow. It's just there's so much dead air that, like, I don't blame you if you drift off as you're watching.
Oh, man, did I drift off in this movie. Almost every single scene had me drifting off and thinking about things that had nothing to do with this movie. Look, we were surrounded by people who were really enjoying the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I'm not prepared to say this was a bad movie by any stretch. It just isn't for me. I don't have the patience for this kind of movie.
The best way I can put it is whether you love it, whether you hate it, I think we can all come together and agree Mandy is overindulgent. And
sure. Yeah.
The question is, do you like what it's indulging in? And for me, I mean, like, if you had asked me the night I saw it, I would probably say, I'm in the middle, leaning toward no. Now I'm like, middle, leaning toward yeah. And who knows, maybe more time will shift that. But at least for right now, because the concept of, because really at its core, it is a love story. That's what it's trying to tell.
It's a revenge story, really.
But that's the thing, is, like, clearly it can't be, because otherwise the revenge shit would have happened at, like, the 20-minute mark.
But it can't be a love story either, because she would have survived longer than the hour mark.
Well, and I think it's because...
So it's trying to have really the best of both kinds of movies.
I would agree with that, but I think the point that I'm getting at is, like, the revenge aspect itself is more so just, like, this is the love that was lost, and, like, look at what it fucking does to this guy.
Sure.
Look at how he freaks out and, like, guzzles nearly an entire bottle of vodka in his bathroom in his underwear.
Yeah, that was a scene. But if neither of us got that aspect in the moment, like, isn't it kind of not working?
The trailer definitely sells it like this is a revenge film, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And the love aspect of it, I definitely did not walk in thinking that the entire first hour was going to just be what's effectively set up for the revenge aspect.
No, I thought Mandy was going to get iced in the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
And so, I mean, like, I was thrown off entirely. And, like, part of me wants to give this a rewatch, just knowing what this is to see if I would enjoy it more and to see if I would get more out of it.
That's fair. I definitely don't have the patience to give this a second watch.
The big thing I will say that, like, isn't holding up for me, like, with more thought, is how blank their relationship is, Mandy and Red. Because it's like, we really don't know that much about them as people. It's basically like, she wears metal shirts, and she smokes weed, and she draws, and she likes to read, and she works at a corner store.
She works at a convenience store, yeah.
That's what you get out of her.
She likes the woods.
Yeah. Nick Cage's character, well, he smokes. He's a lumberjack. Doesn't like that. Doesn't like living in the woods.
Probably likes the same kinds of bands that she does.
Yeah, probably. And that's about it.
Yep. They like watching TV together and
the implication,
laying in bed together and talking about nothing interesting at all.
Planets! Like, their characters are, I think, deliberately supposed to be blank slate-ish. So that way you can transpose yourself into them and you can live it out. Which, like, if that's the case, if you're a woman, I'm sorry, but you gotta be Nick Cage because you don't get a good shake out of this fucking thing otherwise.
Unless you're into cult leaders.
I guess if you are going the blank slate route, fine, but then don't have it be an hour until the revenge aspect.
You know what I was hoping for more of? This is essentially what I wanted. What I was sold from the trailer was just more audacity. When he lifts that axe in the trailer slowly, and there's just like a lens flare sheen off of it, I was just like, it's on. This movie's gonna be amazing. And then even in the movie, it's just like after that axe moment, he barely uses that axe, man.
Yeah, he like shoves it down a dude's throat, which is like neat.
Yeah,
but,
there's some great moments in it, but like you said, everything it takes so long to get to all the things in the trailer that sold me on being interested.
Yeah,
it takes forever to get to them.
That shot with the cult leader where Mandy gets brought into the room and the cult leader is giving a spiel. He shows his dick, and we get this tight close-up on the cult leader in his face. And he's describing who he is, like what his modus operandi is. And as he's speaking, it fades from his face into Mandy's face, and it fades back and forth. That is so fucking cool to me. It's like this really great in-shot editing trick. From this point on, it's like, I don't want a reverse shot anymore. Just fade their fucking face into the other person's face. Like, that was such a genuinely awesome way to handle that.
It was cool. It was
from
cool.
the mindset of a character who is on a hallucinogen.
Yeah.
That said, it's like, that's really awesome, but I stopped paying attention to what the cult leader was saying after the first, 15 to 20 seconds of that shot. Not because the editing trick was that powerful, but because I just stopped giving a shit. Because it didn't feel that relevant.
Every single bit of dialogue in this film drags.
Yeah.
It just drags. And I drifted off and started thinking about other stuff because I get the gist of it, where you're going with it. I tune out. I tune back in and go, yep, I didn't miss anything, really, with this dialogue.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I got the gist of... I missed clearly that Nick Cage was high on the demon hallucinogen, but that wasn't in dialogue. That was an action that I didn't catch on to. Anyway.
Well, you were drifting.
Yeah. The things I liked about it, though, the cult leader, actor.
Yeah. He's from Homeland. He's
holy shit.
Super good in this.
A lot of people are saying in reviews that, Nick Cage gives one of the best performances, blah, blah, blah. He's fine in it. He's fine. He's dosed in blood and screaming, he does that well.
Yeah.
But he doesn't hold a candle to the performance of the cult leader in this movie. The cult leader, in my opinion, is the standout. He is the best actor in this movie. And it shows.
Oh, God, yeah. No, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I will stand for that actor, totally. He's really good in this. I will defend Nick Cage in this, though, because I do...
He's not bad. I didn't mean to attack him. It's just... People say he's the standout, and I disagree. I think
from a standout standpoint. But with Nick Cage, that bathroom scene, I think the cool thing about it is him doing his thing, where he just fucking goes for it, for better or for worse. But there is enough genuine hurt in that I still feel a little something for that character. And when he's attacking people, when he's doing the chainsaw fight, those aren't hell screams of let's fucking do this. He just sounds like he is a guy pushed to the fucking brink. And past the brink, really. For whatever reason, the shot that really fucking haunts me is the one right at the end. As he's driving away from all of this stuff, it's he's killed the cult leader, the revenge has been had. And he's driving and he looks over and imagines seeing Mandy in the car seat behind him. And then it reverse shots to this fucked up smile that he has. And it's he's hit his apex where it's he fucking avenged her. And now he gets to just bask in this memory. But he looks so fucking wildly and disheveled and crazy that he completely loses sight of those initial happy moments that we see in the first hour of the movie.
Yeah.
It's there is so much good shit happening here. And again, maybe if I watched it again, knowing what I was walking into, I might get more out of this. but fuck is that first hour slow. I felt that drag too. And I definitely think that this movie at 2 hours, I liked it, but if this movie was 90 minutes, I probably would have walked out of this fucking thing and been like, this is my movie of the year.
There is an audience out there who fucking loved this movie. But no, I thought not just the first hour, but the whole movie dragged. The movie was a drag for me. And at the end of the day, what I would give this is a shouldn't have seen it.
Oh, and that is something we should note. Our scale for this is should see again as our top rating.
Yep.
Glad I saw it. And then we have should have waited, as in shouldn't have gone out to the theater to see it. Should have waited for
the ultimate middle.
And our bottom, which James just gave Mandy, was shouldn't have seen it.
Shouldn't have seen it. No. This was in retrospect, I could have, been watching something more my speed for that 2 hours.
As of right now, I will give this a very, very, very high should have waited.
Okay, cool.
I think that about covers it for us,
That's all
man.
I have, Kevin.
Yeah, all right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for listening to us, however you're listening to us, whether that be a magical date on iTunes that we cannot foresee. You can listen to us also on YouTube. I presume that's how you're listening to this right now.
At the moment.
Yes.
Hello.
When this first drops. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Trailer Hitch Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Trailer Hitch Podcast. You can also, I think in theory, still rate and review us on iTunes, maybe. I don't know.
I think so. Give it a shot.
Otherwise, thank you so much to Rachel Ashley for the amazing iTunes art that you see.
It's amazing. It's rock and roll.
You can find her at Mighty Creations on Instagram. Thank you so much to Danny Schmitz from Lost in a Name for the amazing intro song. Thank you so much to Casey Clowers for the bitching outro, which you'll hear momentarily, unless James has something to add.
Absolutely not. I'm done.
All right, cool. That's it for us, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good evening and week and month and year in life. How about that? Have a good life.
I like it.
But come back.
You can't mount holy sails without a sailor stitch, and you can't haul your stuff without a trailer hitch. Trailer hitch.
Anyway.
Do you live next to the sand people from Star Wars? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was fucking weird. That was my attempt at.
No, don't. You're gonna make them come over, and then we're gonna have a sand person in here,
and we're gonna mating season for the sand people. We don't want to attract them. Anyway,
as much as I like to take one for the team, I don't know if I'm ready to fuck a sand person from Star Wars.
Okay, so
and a 1 and a 2 and a